This is Pirate Land, the untold story.
We were only supposed to be there for 4 hours, but we went well over 14 hours, and things went downhill very quickly.
Conflict is art. Yes, there were tears and there was some blood on set.
It was chaos. Shooting day, I showed up bright and early, excited to perform what I believed was going to be the role of a lifetime.
My presence, when I entered the scene, the camera wept. When I left, the boom operator drank.
There were tears, there was bloodshed, there were other bodily fluids.
It was like asking a seagull to do brain surgery. Noble, doomed, flapping everywhere. The blood was metaphorical until it wasn't.
I think the day culminated in a sword fight where Darren ended up being stabbed in the hand, bleeding. That was around hour 13 when a number of the junior associates took their pirate wigs off, threw their pistols down on the deck, and said, "We're not going to take it anymore."
We're all getting pretty tired of Kyla bossing us around. Brandon stormed out a little while ago, and I don't know if he's coming back. He was in tears. Emma slammed her sword down and almost cut off Lewis's finger, so we may have to finish this with some CGI and just cutting together what we can.
The security guards that we'd hired to protect the ship had to step in and end up protecting people from full-on hangings.
I've had it with these damn amateurs!
They were children, dirty, crying children. I was their father, their tyrant, their lighthouse. Sometimes I screamed, sometimes I wept, sometimes I confiscated their rum, but always they obeyed.
A sword fight broke out between our director and one of the lead hands, which we couldn't explain. Nobody knew how it started, but it didn't end pretty.
When the parrot died, we held a funeral at sea, and the parrot was cast into a puddle. It was raining heavily, and ultimately half the cast ended up with pneumonia.
Oh, the biggest argument we had that day was over makeup. It was consistently arguments over makeup. Not only did we have our makeup artist quit at the last minute, I got a text 10 p.m. the night before we were supposed to start shooting saying, "I don't understand the vision." And I get where the makeup artist was coming from. On the one hand, I'm sending these pictures of Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean, but I find out later that Paul's been sending screen grabs of Captain Hook from the old Peter Pan. Not the Peter Pan cartoon, the live action Peter Pan. It was obviously very conflicting in the imagery of what the pirate was going to be. So we lost our makeup artist, and I decided, I was already the props coordinator, I was already the costume designer, why not be the makeup artist too? And so I tried to do people's makeup. There were so many disputes about it. Brandon, at one point, decided that he was going to do his own eyeliner. And this actually started a whole streak of him being sort of a goth punk lawyer, where he would show up to work every day in eyeliner for weeks afterwards. People accused me of poking them in the eye with the eyeliner. I wasn't even touching them. I wasn't even anywhere near the waterline. And if they can't hold it together long enough to just get a little black around the eyes, then, was it going to come to me putting black around their eyes with my fists? It felt like it.
For 3 days, I lived in an evidence locker, surrounded by seized breathalyzers. I ate only stale crackers and rage.
Carla brings one more fucking pirate joke to the table, I'm gonna strangle her. This is just ridiculous. I've been reading and reading pirate jokes, reciting pirate jokes. I've been reciting pirate jokes for an hour. How many hours? How many?
Back to set!
Fuck off!
It's 10 o'clock at night. We're still here. Paul keeps making me Google pirate jokes to film yet another scene. How many fucking scenes do we need? I mean, we've got like 14 hours of footage. I have court tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna make it out alive.
I think some of us had a lot more trouble letting go of our characters. It was weeks after Talk Like a Pirate Day, and Paul was still walking around talking in his pirate voice and wearing his pirate jacket. It got to the point that that thing was so tattered, he never washed it, it was stinky, and nobody wanted to say anything because he still had the sword at his hilt.
You cannot outgrow infinity. I carry Pete with me always. He sleeps in my bones and wakes when the tide smells of gin.
At the end of the shoot, Paul took the swords that we had as props and used the sword to physically dismantle the ship. There were numerous instances in which props were used as weapons. Obviously, we had weapons as props. We had pistols, we had swords, and they weren't fake swords. They were real swords. We went out and spent the money to get actual swords. They were very expensive. I could never understand the investment, especially with the bloodshed that ensued. But the parts where I am most traumatized by props being used as weapons was when Emma picked up a stuffed parrot and just started beating Brandon over the head with it repeatedly.
The props were weapons. That they were used as weapons should surprise no one.
There were times when I thought, it's time to abandon ship.
If I abandoned this project, I'd be a man without dreams, and I don't want to live like that.
And I was standing there on the bow of the boat, looking out at what was beyond it, and I realized that all it was a green screen. There was no sea to jump into and swim away to, no safe island where I could take refuge. There was a green screen wall. There was nothing. I was trapped in this green void of Paul's directorial vision. And sometimes, even to this day, when I close my eyes to go to sleep at night, I see green screen green.